right now.
Welcome to the Dreary Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Dreary Show. It is March 15th, 2018. It's Thursday. I'm your host, as always, Dreary, and with me, returning as a guest host,
I am Jesus.
What's going on, man?
Not much, just still recovering from a couple days ago, as you may know.
Why don't you enlighten our audience on what happened?
So there's different versions of the truth, and this is mine. Recently, you know what? It was 2 days ago. 2 nights ago. I was going over to have a beer fest drinking game 2.0 because we already had a couple, and I was gonna have fun, and I did. And afterward, we played Rock Band, and then we were going to play Fortnite. As you may know, people get hyped over Fortnite. I don't. So this is my version of the truth. I am not hyped over Fortnite. I do play Fortnite. I'm all about Team Arctic. Shout out to Anthony and his team, which I want to be a part of really bad. But I'm not good enough. So, I play low-key. I play for fun. So, it was my turn. Everyone got a turn on the controller or whatever. And I was playing. Since we had just watched Beer Fest, I was pretending to have a German accent online and having fun talking to people. So I had the mics on from Anthony's. And I had this controller. And I was sitting like Indian style on the floor. So I was just playing, and I didn't rage quit. I was just like being funny about rage quitting people, and I threw the control down on my lap, and it bounced back into my face, and it hit my tooth and my lip. So I have a cut on my lip and my tooth, and I didn't feel it at first until I was going home, and I looked in the mirror and I saw I had a chipped tooth, like the bottom corner, like a triangle, like the corner, and I freaked out. I was like, "What the hell?" Like, I thought it was am I bleeding? Was I bleeding the entire time? And I wasn't. And I guess because the chip was, to me, it was big, but I guess not big enough to hit a nerve. So I freaked out, and then Derek came over to my house to sleep over because I think by the time I got home, it was already 5 a.m. So it was pretty late, and then I woke up at 7 a.m. looking up dentists from around the neighborhood. This was yesterday morning, and literally one doctor actually answered himself because he was helping the receptionist person, secretary, to take calls, and it just he was really cool. So I do recommend. I'm gonna give a shout out to them, Bryce Dentistry or whatever on Bilbo, but he answered the phone himself. He was just like, no, come in. We'll do it before lunchtime. I was like, great, that seems like a good thing. And I was like nervous when I went to the dentist. I don't really go to the dentist. I've been to it once before, maybe for the same issue. I had a cracked tooth or chipped tooth in the back of my, like in a molar. So I went in there. Derek came with me as emotional support in case I got drugged up or whatever from the dentist. And then they took me in, and then I was like, okay, hopefully they take my insurance because I don't want to pay a lot of money for this. And then they took me into the back. They measured my heartbeat or whatever, and they're like, it's really fast, sir. And I was like, yeah, I'm really nervous and probably hungover. I told them about that. I probably should have. And then they're just like chit-chatting with me. Dr. comes in and they inject me with all the whatever numbing thing on your gum so I can feel my tooth. And so the whole thing took maybe when he started actual procedure to when it ended, it was 30 minutes. And he just they put those the filling, whatever it is, the composite, so it looks like my tooth. that portions you can't really tell, but I feel like now I have a weird bite since yesterday, and I'm afraid I couldn't eat anything yesterday. From yesterday morning to about 7 p.m., I didn't drink or eat anything because I was scared. I'm scared my tooth is just going to fall off now.
Yikes.
So I have to get used to it. I was like, I really want to forget that it's there. And if it falls off, I guess I just have to like get it fixed again. But supposedly these things last like 4 to 7 years with regular wear and tear or whatever. So it sucks that I would have to get a replacement. But I talked to a team member yesterday, and she told me she's had hers since she was like in the 7th grade. She's already 18. So I'm pretty sure they last a while. But I'm afraid. I really am. I couldn't even. I was like, should I even eat chips and queso? Like, is this too hard? Is this like it's gonna break my tooth off? So that's the story of how I messed up my tooth.
All right. So, you said you chipped it playing Fortnite, correct?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this. I literally have never. I don't know shit about Fortnite. I've never played it. I've never even seen like people play it. I'll see it on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, like memes about Fortnite. What exactly is Fortnite? Like, what's the game about?
It's like a mixture between like a regular point and shoot and maybe like Minecraft. So like the whole point is there's like a map and there's different locations that you can possibly land at. So you have a bus and everyone, what is it, 50 people? 50 people get on, 40? You get on the map. And if you're usually in a group of 4 people. And so if you're playing group play, but if you're playing solo play, you're by yourself. So if you're playing group play, everyone's on this bus, and then you jump off into the map. And so in group play, you can talk to your team, so that's what I was doing that night. And you pick a place to land, and then you basically, there's a storm coming, and the eye of the storm gets smaller and smaller, and it's always randomly on the island, and you're supposed to survive from other players, but also survive the storm, because if you get caught up in the storm, it depletes your health until you die, or until you get to a safety point. And then it gets smaller and smaller, so that it basically becomes like a combat royale, where like you have basically like 10 square feet of land that you and the other person have to survive on. And then whoever's last wins the game. It's pretty cool, and then you actually can destroy stuff in the game, like houses, trees to get supplies, and then you build little forts. That's what's Fortnite. Well, Fortnite is actually like in reference to 4 nights, like in your classic Shakespearean, but it really like references also the fact that you get materials and build stuff around you to protect yourself or to have some kind of advantage over other players. It's pretty fun.
Like, is it primarily just like a console game, or can you play it on your phone?
They say they're going to release it on your phone. You could play PC, PS4, Xbox, but I heard that they're going to release it to the phone.
Ooh, interesting. I might just hop on that.
You should. Why not? I have. I mean, cost me all this.
It cost you your livelihood.
Yeah, it did. It really did. Now I can't chew anymore.
Poor thing. So I didn't know you were a gamer.
I am, but I'm a casual gamer. I used to be a big gamer. I used to play all the time. I used to actually, like, as a kid, I was like probably one of the best gamers and that I knew, because I used to be really good. And then college and everything all got in the way. I felt like I never had time. Like literally the last 4 nights, I've literally just come home to sleep, and then I wake up and get ready for work and leave. Like, it's just kind of like that, having the 2 jobs, going to school still, and I had hardly had time. So when I do make time, it's hard. Like, it's always after like 11 p.m. and I don't want to stay up late all the time, even though I do. And so I am, I love all the classics, like Call of Duty, Battlefront, I still play those. And the one that the game that I always wanted and never did buy, because I read mixed reviews on it, was Jurassic Park the game, which is basically a Telltale game. You remember where they released the Walking Dead the game for iPad?
I played the Batman one and Guardians of the Galaxy one.
So it's basically like point and click game. But I wanted it because it was like a side story to Nidri, like when they ever find Nidri's body in the game they do. So it's pretty cool. But
yeah, I feel you on the whole, not being able to have much of a life portion. It's just, I mean, my schedule is not as crazy as yours, but I like school, but I honestly just can't wait for the end of the year because that's when I graduate and get my bachelor's. I kill you. I just can't wait for that. I can't wait for that because I just want to be done with school already.
That's good. Honestly, I can't wait to be done either, but for more time.
Wait, you're still in school?
Yeah.
Oh, well, what are you working on?
I'm doing my PhD for higher education administration.
Okay, cool. What are you going to do with that?
Well, my want is, this is my dream, to somehow still work at SW, and also work as a school psychologist, but as a contract school psychologist, that way I can do those two jobs on the side, but I want, maybe eventually, if I don't stay in education, if I stay in education, I want to become director, executive director, special education. But if I stay on the academic college side, I want to become a dean or vice president of student services.
Okay, hold on just a second. Okay, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, just sorry to go off topic. I just got the same microphone that you have.
Really?
Yeah, I got the same microphone that you have.
Hell yeah.
So, because not to bore anyone, but for the first 12 minutes, if you guys had Spreaker Studio and you look on microphone and sources, the first part where it says microphone, where you're talking, you see the bars go up. On the second part where Jesus is talking, where it says cable output, I see his go up and I also see mine go up at the same time. So I decided to take my auxiliary cord of my earbuds out and put it to my computer because these mics are pretty sensitive. These Blue Yeti ones.
Oh yeah, they really are.
Yeah, you basically have to be in a really quiet area because these can pick up shit that's happening outside.
Honestly, yeah, because I was using this mic to talk to my group. And my teacher, because we met on, we had an online meeting on Zoom or whatever, and legit everything that was happening outside my door, I could hear it on my earphones. I was like, I wonder if they can hear all that.
Yeah, because I tried these out for the first time, the first day I got them, and because I remember you showed me how to work them when we were at your house a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I tried the different patterns, and then there's that one pattern where it picks up all sound. I can literally hear the sound of my hands rubbing together, and I can hear my dogs barking outside.
I could hear that too. Whenever I open the desk, you can hear that, right? It's I can hear everything, and better. I feel like I have spidey senses because I can hear it better than I would with my regular ears.
Spidey senses.
My spidey senses are tingling.
Oh, my spidey senses are tingling.
But I think you could also get what are they called? A buffer or whatever? Those foam thing that goes over the mic?
Yeah. Oh, you mean condensers?
Something like that. But this one's supposed to be an automatic one too, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So, but I think I saw one that was for sale that I guess the person had bought one of those things, those foam things that you put on top of it, maybe to cancel out some of that.
Yeah, those are called I think those are called condensers. I believe so.
That way, if I talk like this really near it, doesn't sound as weird.
Hello, welcome to the GRE show. I have Jesus on with me. How you doing, Jesus?
I'm doing well.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So when this episode releases, for like the first 12 minutes, I think it's gonna sound like Jesus is like echoing, and it's gonna sound like I'm echoing. So,
Eh,
all right, I
I
fixed the
love to
problem.
echo.
I fixed the problem. Anywho, so yeah, you were saying about your degree. um, your current job is you work in the special education field, correct?
Yes, I work for the special education department at my school district.
All right. I mean, you don't have to talk about it, but did you want
Mhm.
to get into it a
Yeah.
little bit?
Yeah, so I'm an LSSP. So here in Texas, you can get licensed as a licensed specialist in school psychologist because Texas is pretentious. And if I were to go to the rest of the country, I would just be a school psychologist. So I mean, I introduced myself as the full title because I guess legally you have to, but literally it's a school psychologist. And people always ask me all the time, "Are you a counselor?" Well, yes and no. I'm not a school counselor because a school counselor, even though they do provide social skills training for kids, they concentrate mostly on the academic achievement of students, like whether they're going to graduate or not. You think of school counselors, in high school, they're like, "Hey, you need this many credits and you need to do this," which is, I think they do so much more than that. But I think when people think of counselors or think of psychologists or school psychologists, they might misinterpret it into that. But
Yeah.
I'm not demeaning the position of school counselor because I actually deal with so much more like testing and actually having to speak to kids as well. Mine is more uh, mm, more restricting than that because I can't speak to students who are not in special education if I were to talk to them, or I can't even speak to students without permission from parents because whenever I provide if I talk to you and that means like somehow legally I'm providing services to you that are psychological because of my license. So I'm restricted to speaking only to students or working with students who have actual consent from their parents or themselves, who are students who are considered over 18. They're considered adult students. So in a way, it's more restricting because I would want to do so much more, but I get the legality of things and where consent comes in based on my ethics. But what I do basically is I provide assessment services to the school district because the state of Texas and all the other states have said this is what's required for a student to participate in the special education program, and that's my email that I'm getting. um, so they said, okay, you need to hire assessment staff that are especially trained. So those are three types of people, really. Actually, a lot more, but the main ones you think about is diagnostician, licensed special school psychologist, or also the more unknown one, I think it's speech language pathologist. So each one of them is trained. Each one of us is trained into actually determining the eligibility of a student. So the eligibilities I can determine are specific learning disability, intellectual disability, other health impairment, emotional disturbance. There's so many more, but those are some of the main ones that I deal with. Autism. So I actually provide the assessment. I was trained to assess people, specifically maybe 2-year-olds all the way to 22, like any school age students, to determine the eligibility of those categories. So I use different instruments like intelligence scales. I use projective techniques, like you might think of regular like other psychologists using. Like I don't use the Rorschach specifically. I do have it. You do have to be trained for 2 years to use that if you're going to be any good at interpreting the Rorschach. But we do other thematic apperception tests, sentence completions, projective techniques as in drawing techniques. So I can ask you to draw things for me and tell stories for me. So I enjoy it a lot. And then you provide so much more than that. So not only the testing, but I can also provide counseling services to students that is academic based if they need it. And then I can also work with teachers. I often do that. In other districts, you're kind of the supervisor of your school or the department at your school that you're assigned to. And I'm assigned to different programs. Last year, I was assigned to my high school that I'm at still. I was assigned to a high achieving girls' school. And then I was assigned to a homeless shelter for teens that are so. But now, like, that school portion is at my high school, so I still deal with the same students. So that's kind of, I mean, I enjoy my new assignments. Beforehand, I was predominantly in elementary, middle school. Those are how the assignments go in our district specifically. I know that, like, in Northeast, North Side, you're assigned to just one school, and I feel like that just isn't me. You know, I like to be able to go to different campuses, work with different students. So even to this day, I get to work with different students in different schools. So even private schools, I have any private school, like the way education works is, like, if any private school or hospitals are in your district, then the district is in charge of providing those services to the student. So if a student's going to a private school that's in my district and they want testing, then they call our district, and then one of us has to do it. And also with, like, a hospital, I think of Santa Rosa, and I think of, like, the children's shelter. Those students we're responsible for because they reside within our district. So it's pretty interesting.
So, I mean, this sounds, I'm messing up my words. This obviously sounds like a job that's, it's not meant for everyone. That's
true.
It's a very, it seems like it seems like it can be a very emotionally and psychologically, no pun intended, damaging job. You have to have thick skin for it, pretty much.
That's true. I think you build up to it. I mean, I think people who want to be psychologists have this background where they already want to understand more about themselves, and in that way, it kind of helps them navigate navigate through the job. And I always think it's funny that, just because you are a psychologist doesn't mean that you don't have a psychologist. And a lot of professors in my programs have always said that, as a psychologist, you need a psychologist. Like, you need someone that you're going to speak to about these things, because you can't just deal with it on yourself. Just because you have the skills and you know exactly what everything is, doesn't mean that you're going to be free of psychological issues pertaining, depression, anxiety. Those are the predominant ones you hear about. But just because you're a psychologist doesn't mean you can't suffer through that, which I think is so real, and it is true. But you go into the field because you want to understand, like, a lot of what they'll tell you is that you go into the field because you want to understand more about yourself, usually.
Very true. That was an interesting way of putting it. As a psychologist, you need a psychologist as well. So,
yeah, I don't have one, but I might need one.
yeah. You and me both, buddy. And I don't mean to compare, but what you're doing, your job, it's kind of similar to my old job when I worked at a residential treatment center. I only worked there for 3 months, for obvious reasons. It's not a job for everyone. I don't recommend it to anyone. I don't recommend it to everyone. I'll put it that way. That's a job you need thick skin for. When you're working around, and I don't want to sound insensitive, saying this, when you're working around people, not just children, but people that are, psychologically and emotionally and physically damaged, you need to be able to not just relate to that, but you need to have the thick skin, have the toughness to handle that.
Yeah, I think it's very hard. One of my practicum students I work with, he also works at, like, not a residential facility, but more of a treatment center, like a more emergency treatment center. And it is a lot of those things that you see that somehow like movie based, some things that you only imagine happening in the movies. And unfortunately, some of that stuff does happen in real life. It's not that exaggerated. So you do have to have, the capability or the resiliency maybe to work with that, to be able to deal with that in a daily basis, to deal with, those issues that you're going to see. So, it's kind of like this, like, some people can't be doctors because they can't look at blood. and then they'll throw up if they look at blood.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Like you just have to have the resiliency, the want to do that. It's like social worker too. Like not everyone can be a social worker because they can't all handle the situation of, this student or this person is in the situation, or this is a CPS removal, and that's just something you do need.
Yeah. And also, there's the possibility of being emotionally attached.
Yes, most definitely. You really care about these people you're working with, and you want to see the best for them, and they don't always get the best results, or they don't get the best life that you would want for them.
Yeah, that's one lesson I learned working over there, which is, or not. I'm gonna reverse it. From what the kids that work there, or the kids that lived at that facility, they were all taught to never get too close with the staff because a lot of the staff would leave, including me. And it's like, again, it's a job I don't recommend to everyone. I didn't hate it. I had some good memories there, but what it all came down to is, I'm not going to put anyone on blast. I'm just going to say I didn't get along too well with the staff. The kids weren't really the problem. In a way, I kind of miss it. I miss some of the kids. Just wonder if they're okay. And that's where that emotional attachment comes in, because you're like, fuck.
Yeah, me too. I remember most of the kids. Sometimes it's hard to, like, 'cause you've seen so many kids, like the caseloads are so high. But anytime, like, as long as I read a little like excerpt or something, like, and these are kids you write reports on and stuff, and I mean, you have to remember them. And I remember each one and always wondering, what they're doing. And I don't think I've been doing it so long where I can see them grow yet. I have seen a lot. And the unfortunate part is that every time since I started at the place I work at, I've been moved like to different assignments every year, just based on, a lot of turnover recently, or, moving of assignments. But I feel like the more stability you get to actually see the people that you work with, like, grow up and achieve things. And it's always so happy to me when I get to see like students doing what they love. And I always ask them about, like, oh, they're doing an art exhibit. Oh, they're doing this sport. Oh, they're going to apply for this college. They're trying out, for soccer. And it's, I don't know. I enjoy it too.
Yeah, I mean, the one of the few good things I can say about working there was, it helped me grow a little bit. It helped me kind of see things in a different perspective. And, with this criminal justice degree, I might try a job like that again. Maybe not at that place, most definitely. But maybe a job like that, working with people. Because, anyone that knows me and me, I always say, I hate people. But, in all actuality, I want to help people. I want to do something where it involves me helping people and making a difference in their life. Like what you're doing, you're helping people. And that's one of the things I like about you, Jesus, because you're good people. You're very generous. You go out of your way to help people, even if you don't know them that well.
Thank you for saying that. I feel like I want to be that person that is there, and I love to see people grow. And even if that's why I love training, at SW. Like, I feel that you get to be a part of someone's life, as small as it is. I do believe, like, in the universe, and some people in your life for very little, but they make a big impact. Some people in your life for a long time. And it's just in those connections that you make. And I love to, get to know people and get to know their dreams and really be a part of that and help them in any way. And as small as it may be, even though in conversation, I think I have this, the way I conversate is like, I hate everyone. I hate that person. I hate that person. But it's really not true. I think if you really didn't know me, you would really think that I hate everyone. Because that's the way I talk, because I think it's funny. I like to be like, I love a little humor in my life all the time. So anything that's funny, any like artists that are funny, with funny lyrics that use words in a funny way, I love. And so I really don't hate anyone. Like FYI, anyone who knows me, everyone who really really knows me knows that I really just love everyone I meet. And I think that everyone can make a difference in your life as you can make a difference in theirs.
Very true, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in closing, like you said, you pretty much just said what I wanted to say. But you said it better.
No.
Oh man. So, what do you want to go over, man? Floor is yours. You're the guest.
I feel like I always talk about Disney, so.
hey, if you want to talk about Disney, go right ahead, buddy.
What was I gonna like? Okay, so I'm excited that this is like more of a personal vlog kind of portion, but I'm excited that Toy Story Land is gonna open. You know what is frustrating about planning vacations is wanting everyone to go and hoping everyone goes. I haven't had like a friend vacation in a while, like since I guess I consider my high school band trip as a friend vacation because I was able to be with my friends at that time and have a very, very good time at Disney with them. And I feel like I want to have that type of experience again, because it's a little different going with your family and versus going with people you consider just your friends, and which some of them can be your family. I do believe that, but
very true.
So it's very always every year I think that I go, I'm always like, you should go. So I'm always like, I'm the instigator when it comes to this. Like, you should go to vacation. You should come to Disney, or you should go to Orlando at least. So I'm trying to get a lot of people to go. I'm trying to get like Peter to go. I'm trying to get Caleb, which you met at the party.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get my cousin to go. I told him the other day, I was like, please go during the time we're there. It'll be fun. Just to, meet up. Even if we don't like link up the entire time, at least, have a day somewhere else. And I always think it's a cool experience to experience your friends in a different way or in a different setting, because I think it changes so much. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same restaurants you go to. It's not the same places you go to. It's a different place. And I feel like people are a little bit different in those settings, and you get to know more of them. So
yeah, I know what you mean. Like,
that's my point.
I didn't mean to cut you off, man.
No.
I know what you mean. It's like when I went to Vegas with my friends in 2011. That was like one of the first times I got to actually see another side of my friends. And, by that, I don't mean like, oh, we're getting drunk, blah, blah, blah. I was like, we could do that in San Antonio. But more so like, we got to, I got to see them in different settings. Like you said, we got to walk around and like actually have like different conversations about like just life and shit in general. So yeah, I get what you mean. I have to see a picture of Peter with Mickey Mouse ears on when you go.
I think he's gonna be too strung up or whatever to even put ears on. I am not. Like, I am willing to just embarrass myself. I'll wear the I wear the Mickey ears and I wear the headband ears. Like, I mean, I'm at Disney. Like, I'm there to have fun, and who are those millions or thousands of people am I gonna see again? Unless, I run into some people I know, but like, it's about living in the moment, and I think those types of vacations let you live in the moment, because what I've seen the other side of that. I've seen more recently in the last couple of days where I went in as a guest to SeaWorld, and we happened to go to one of the restaurants to just chill really fast, and we're sitting there, and then the family wanted to sit next to us. And they did, and they didn't want to because, I guess it was so crowded at this restaurant, and it was, and we were just sitting on the edge. So we felt bad taking any seats. So it ended up being that they were like angry, like they were mad, like maybe frustrated, I think. And it's easy to forget that people do get in that way when they're on vacation. But they were frustrated, like with like the wait times, or it was too crowded, like the food wasn't that good according to them. But and then I've seen that a couple times already, and I always feel so bad too because I've been in that situation too, like where you're just fighting, like your family or your friend, like so I always try to avoid those, like even if it means like being the silent one or just not saying anything, not so. But that's like one of those dirty things about vacations that there's going to be that moment where everyone is just like not in a good mood.
True, true.
Especially if it's busy, especially at Disney. I feel because I felt a crowd change. Usually I go during the summers, and I felt like in winter it was a lot busier and people were a lot more rude over there. Definitely, there was a character change for real because the holidays you're supposed to be happy, and what I felt was that everyone was cutting in all the lines. The lines were ridiculously long. First of all, people would just like throw their mess places. They would like, I think the kids were peeing places, like those types of things that you don't expect to see there. But the cutting was bad. People were rude. Some guy like tried to come at my sister like because it was like so busy. I was like, "What is going on? This is supposed to be the happiest place on earth, right?"
What do you mean? What do you mean? Come at?
Like tried to tell her something, and I got like talking back to this guy, so we got into like a verbal argument. And this was like New Year's Day, like after the New Year's Eve firework.
See, that's one thing I don't understand is why are people so fucking pissy on the holidays? That's one thing I don't like you said. It's like why the holidays you're supposed to be happy. I don't understand if it's summer and you're being pissy and rude, but why the holidays? Come on, man.
Exactly. So I really did see that change, and I hadn't been to Orlando the winter. So will I go again? Maybe. Do I know what to expect now? Yes, I do. What I do want to see is, Orlando during Halloween time, because Halloween time is my favorite.
I so want to go there for Halloween.
Me too. The Hollywood Horror Nights and Mickey's Not So Scary. Those are like goals to go to. As nerdy as that sounds.
Because we went to Universal last summer, and we were surprised at how cheap it was. Like it's actually not a lot. The only thing that costs a lot is like staying in a hotel or whatever. So the goal for us is to go back and to do things on our own time and just have a ball because it was freaking fun as hell. I loved it. I want to go back. Like I want to go back right fucking now. Actually. Me
too. I wanted to be there during spring break. You know what I was looking into the other day is Disney's Vacations Explorationers. I don't know what, but it's like Disney sponsored vacations around the world, which is kind of rip off, but it gives you ideas of where you want to go. And it just so happened, like the universe was telling me that there is a Disney Explorers, whatever that program is called, to Barcelona, Spain, and they were gonna tour like my favorite architect in the city. So I was just like shook. I was like, man, this is a sign. I mean, it was like $1,900 a person, but I guess it included the airfare, the stay, the food. So it was like an all-inclusive trip. But it was only for like a week or 4 days or something like that, 4 or 5 days, which is kind of expensive. $1,900 for that, maybe. But then I looked at I was just so like bored or whatever. I looked at myself like a flight and a hotel for 2 people would have been like 3,300 maybe. So I don't know. I don't know if that would have been worth it then or not, because the other one would include the food and the tours. So who knows? Like I'll have to look at the pricing. My dream is to go to Spain or in Europe somewhere.
Ooh.
Yeah, specifically Spain, but I obviously want to go to all of Europe.
What would you find in Spain?
That's Sagrada Familia. That's one of my favorite architectural like wonders, I call them. But it's still being built. I think the last I read was going to be finished being built in 2025, and it's been in construction since like 1885 or something like that. So it's a really cool place. If you ever look it up, it looks amazing.
Okay. Um, as far as like anywhere in Europe, I always wanted to go. Spain sounds pretty good. I always wanted to visit my home country. Well, I'm not from there, but where my people are, Iran. Maybe visit Japan for a bit. Go to Canada, just so I can say it. Just so I can say I've been in Toronto.
Wait, is it Toronto or what other city? What's a city with the underground like tunnels or whatever? Because it gets so cold during the year.
Paris, I believe.
Well, Paris, but there's one in Canada that has like underground like walkways or something so that people don't freeze to death.
Let me look that up.
I'm gonna look it up too.
Actually, I think I know what you're talking about. I think I read about that in a book. Underground walkways in Canada. That is in Ontario. Toronto, Ontario. I believe I read about that in a book. I'm just forgetting where I read it.
It's so cool.
Actually, I remember hearing that. This is a history lesson for you kids. Slaves that would try to leave the United States, they actually found an underground walkway that led to Toronto. I might be getting that wrong because I usually get my history facts all scrambled up. So I might have to go back and check later on, but I remember specifically hearing
that. That's awesome.
Oh, man. What else can we go over about Disney? Did you see the Wreck-It Ralph 2 trailer?
I have not seen it, and then you did a reaction thing for it. Wreck-It Ralph. I like the first one. What's the second trailer about? If you could explain it to me.
All right, not to give too much away, but I pretty much am. They go into the internet.
Okay.
The World Wide Web, because the owner of the arcade that they live at, he gets a computer, and then he gets internet, and they somehow get sucked into the internet. So it's basically, you get a kick out of the trailer because it's basically showing different types of cliches when it comes in there, like, hey, buy this new blah 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 on eBay, or hey, look at this top 10 list of child actor kids that went bad. And it's pretty funny. You have to watch it. I'm gonna watch it. It probably won't be as good as the first one, but sequels usually aren't. Not everybody can be a Dark Knight.
Not everyone can be a Toy Story.
Not everybody can be a Winter Soldier. But I'll watch it. I'll definitely watch it.
I'll probably watch it too. I just feel it's borderline Emoji Movie.
Oh, don't even compare a classic to that piece of shit Emoji Movie. Oh my god.
Emoji Movie will go down in history as a classic.
Jesus, you better be saying that as a joke.
That's the joke that is true. That's such a funny movie.
That's up there with your classics next to Speed 2 Cruise Control.
Speed 2 Cruise Control is a classic. I stand by it. I will forever stand by it. Speed 2 Cruise Control. Sandra Bullock and the guy that they chose to replace Keanu Reeves. Well, he's a different guy, but...
They call it speed, but yet they're on a boat. That's just...
Because the boat is going fast, okay? And it can't stop. That's why. That's why, Drew. That's why.
Oh, man. Speaking of Disney, we just watched Coco for the first time last night.
What'd you think?
Well, I didn't cry, if that's what you people are thinking. Because I'm a man. I thought it was really good. I thought it had a good story to it. It went in a different direction that I didn't think it was going to go.
The twist ending?
It had a good twist ending. And we're just going to... And, if I spoil anything, I'll just put spoiler alerts. Whatever. But overall, it was really good. It was really dark. It kind of got really dark at the end.
Yeah.
And
Remember me,
remember me.
even
And
when we are apart.
again, I totally wasn't crying. It usually Disney movies do go into like a dark direction.
That's true.
You know, a la Bambi getting killed, and Bambi's mother getting killed, and Dumbo's mom dying.
Yeah.
Somebody always needs to die, and it always needs to be a parent of some sort.
Well, that was the whole like Walt Disney's fascination, right? The mother always dies or is gone.
All right, what's your take on the whole like conspiracy theory about Walt Disney that he was into like the dark arts and he was a pedophile?
I don't. The only Disney rumor or whatever I think it's true, maybe even not true, is the whole Walt Disney turning in other Jewish animators to the House Un-American Acts Committee. I felt like that's one of his biggest, his, I don't know, like where people actually talk about, because I mean, that's what people say. And I've heard it referenced in different places. So, I mean, I think he did. I mean, they're saying that he turned people that were competition to him to that committee. That committee was made during the Red Scare where people were afraid of communism. And therefore, anyone who was a communist was blacklisted from Hollywood or from anything.
Was it like that movie that Bryan Cranston did where he played that director that got blacklisted by Hollywood?
There is, what is it called?
It has like some weird name to it. Hold on. Oh, it's like Columbo or something, or Palumbo, or fuck. Hold on, I need to look that up. Yeah, like you just brought that up, and he played a director that was like an underground, director that he got blacklisted by Hollywood because he was apparently a communist, and he ended up getting an Oscar nod for it. So let me look that up right now.
Come on, Lucy was a.
It's called.
Communist.
God damn it! Where the fuck is it? Trumbo. Oh, he played
director Trumbo.
Yeah, Dalton Trumbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the whole because I read about it because like I don't believe in conspiracy theories. I just read them for fun. And the story about Walt Disney was that he was into like black magic and dark arts, and he was a pedophile, and hence why you see a lot of like young Disney starlets being like sexualized and blah blah blah. And
I think that's New Age, maybe. I think maybe dark arts, but not in the sense that he was maybe performing them. I think just based on like his rides or like things he was interested in those type of like mysticism, like just the Haunted Mansion itself or Pirates of the Caribbean. Like he was into those types of topics, and I can imagine witchcraft, maybe dark arts, if you consider witchcraft a dark art. But I can see that portion. I don't know the pedophile thing. I feel like that's a recent Hollywood, supposedly been going on for years, kind of deal that has recently come up a lot. But I think in general, not just maybe Disney, but it just so happens Disney owns everyone at this point. But I think maybe wasn't. I don't think it's a Disney thing originally, or
Yeah, Disney pretty much owns everybody.
Yeah, they own this broadcast.
Wait, they do? Oh yeah, they do. I see it. It went from being Yari Productions to Disney Productions. Fuck.
Disney. Hey, you made it.
Yeah,
you were bought out by Disney.
So now I can't cuss anymore. Fuck. I mean fudge.
Fudge cakes.
Fudge cakes. Mother trucker.
Watch your profanity.
Watch your profanity. Oh man, I miss Vine. I miss the old.
Me too.
I miss the old Vine before it became before all these corporations started sticking their hands in it.
Yeah, before it's like an ad for everything.
And then all these fucking fudging washed up kid actors or commercial actors decided to make their own Vine.
Yeah, I know, and to become really popular. And then what I hate more is like not all the Viners that became YouTube stars, but because some of them were actually good Viners.
Yeah. Who's your favorite, or who's one of your favorites?
One of my Vine stars was probably the guy that always did videos with Christine. He's British. I forgot his name, and I watch his YouTube channel sometimes. Not Cody Co, but Cody Co is one of my favorites too. You know Cody Co?
Cody Co? No.
Brandon? No.
Brandon
Not Brandon. Yeah, Cavallari.
Brandon
Cavalli?
Calvillo? Brandon Calvillo?
Yes, he was one of my like his last Vine was like emotional.
Yeah, like I follow him on Twitter. He says he's like funny as shit. He says things that make sense, and then he'll just say things that just make me laugh out loud. I have to screenshot them and then put them on my Instagram.
His last Vine is so fucking emotional.
His last ever Vine he ever made.
Yeah, just put Brandon Calvillo's last Vine or Calvillo.
Brandon Calvillo, I'm forgetting names.
And he called out the one of his last Vines or posts on Twitter about it. He really called out all the people that basically killed Vine.
Yeah, he actually has a podcast, and his first ever Vine or his first ever podcast, he actually he put a lot of people on blast. He didn't make any he didn't say any names. He just basically kind of said we're all thinking that a lot of people kind of treat Vine like it's something else. They don't appreciate it for what it is, but they try to treat it like it's more than what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of treating it like, oh, hey, this is an app where we can just have fun, make little snippets or whatever, they treat it like, no, I'm a Vine superstar. Treat me like a legend or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and that's always the one thing. That's the one thing I appreciate in people is when they're just honest, and when they say what's on their mind, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Brandon Calvillo is pretty good. I was a fan of Darius Benson.
I was a fan of Thomas Sanders.
Yeah, him. He seems like the type of guy that you would BFFs if you met.
Probably, because we're just out there. I feel like a lot of people. Who's that? I'm telling you, who hangs out with Christine? I love Christine.
Who's Christine?
Someone. Sidelko.
Christine Sidelko?
Yeah. She's like, I'm shook at 3. Remember that video?
Hold on. Oh, Big Girl?
Yeah,
I see her right now.
She's funny on Twitter still.
Yeah.
Her famous post. But why am I the caterpillar?
Are you talking about Elijah Daniel?
No, that was her maybe boyfriend. The other British guy. I forgot his name. I don't think she's officially hung out with him since Vine ended. But it was another British guy. I forgot his name. He was hilarious. I'm telling you, he still has a channel.
Drew Monson?
No. He looks like Elijah.
Oh, then I wouldn't know.
I can't think of him. Maybe when I think of him, I'll think of his YouTube video. Oh, let's see. I think I found him. Tom Harlock.
Oh, yeah, never heard of him.
He's funny. He's really, really funny. He just says whatever's on his mind, I feel.
Oh, interesting.
Vine 2.0 auditions. That's it. That's a funny video.
Yeah, oh yeah, I heard about that. Brandon, he mentioned that they were potentially going to make another Vine or reboot Vine.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. That the creators are people do want it back, I think.
Yeah, like I said, when it first came out, I I believe it came out in 2014, or that's when I first heard about it. In 2014, that's when I downloaded it, and I liked it because it was just original. It was something different, and I think what killed it was the fact. Well, here's two reasons why I think killed it. One is what Brandon said. A lot of those, actors, quote unquote, that were on it and thought it was, a lot more than it actually was. And two, I think people were mad that Vine decided to take porn off of Vine.
I feel like that's like if Tumblr were to do it. But I heard that, what Brandon had said was basically the Elite Six Viners demanded like more than $1 million or whatever each to continue to make contact or they would leave. And Vine basically said, no, we're not going to give you the money you're requiring it from us because they didn't make that much money anyways, like Vine, the company itself. And so, because these people were making money off of the ads that they were doing. So they already had money, and then they ultimatum Vine and said, if you don't give us the money we're requesting, I think it was top 10 Viners, and then they said no, then they would leave the platform, and basically they left the platform, quote unquote, and then Vine died. And I think that's what Brandon was upset about.
Okay, who are these elite Viners?
Yeah, the ones that you think like Lily Pons and those Jake brothers and the people that is just not that good. But
you mean the so-called top 10 ones, the ones I didn't really think were that funny?
Pretty much.
Yeah, are you talking about Jake Paul or Logan Paul, whatever his name is?
Both. I think they're brothers.
Oh my God, they're such douchebags.
Well, $1.2 million per month.
Fuck you.
Let's see. I want to see. Okay, Marcus Johns, Peaks.
Marcus Johns. Why does that sound familiar? I'm trying to picture the face right now. Marcus Johns. Oh, that guy?
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to see the name. I can try to find a list of names, but they never confirmed, I don't think.
Well, yeah, let me look that up on Twitter. The Elite Viners. Yeah, there's no name coming up.
I think it's I think they're the ones who headed it off. Marcus Johns and Peaks. They're the ones who are asking for $1.2 million each.
Why would you ask for that much money?
Because they wanted more money. Marcus Johns, Jerry Perdrak, Christian DeGrosso, Curtis Lepore, Axel James, The Storm Power. They were all at the meeting.
You see, to me, that just makes me think less of you. I mean, because the whole point of Vine was just to have. It was just a little minuscule app where you can make these little 30-second, 40-second, minute-long videos, and you want an ass ton of money for that. To me, that just doesn't make me respect you as a person. That makes me think of you as just a greedy piece of shit.
Which they are.
Yeah. And if you're not even that funny, why are you asking for more money?
Exactly. These people. I mean, they see, all of a sudden it's greed, They want more and more.
Greed is the root of all evil.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the 7 deadly sins.
7 deadly sins. All right, man. I'm going to have to cut this interview short because I need to go get an eye exam and get my contacts, which is at 3 p.m. Appreciate you getting on, man.
No worries, anytime. You know this.
When is your podcast starting?
Okay, so about that. I need to, it's just like I told you, I've not been at my house. So I really need to just, sit down, start that contract stuff and really get going. But anyone listening, be on the lookout. It's going to be called something like Disney, etc. or something like that. because I want to talk about more things than just Disney. But I definitely want to concentrate on topics, or history type topics of it. But or I might just change the entire theming of it. But be on the lookout for it. I'll ask to be invited back so I can promote it when I for sure officially release the channel.
Affiliated with Yari Productions.
Yes.
All right, man. Just let me know when you can be on next time.
Okay.
All right, take care, brother.
You too.
All right, next show. I'm not sure when that's going to be. Try to do something this Sunday. Maybe I can try to get Devin back on. And thank y'all for listening. And take care.